Matelasse is a woven cloth that can have texture and soft puffiness to it. Piqué and Matelasse are explained in a good article in Heddlecraft, November 17th issue. I feel she has sometimes confused her wefts and her warps in the explanation and diagrams, making it very confusing for me to understand the weave. I hope to do a better job with this video. There's also some pages dedicated to Piqué in Carol Strickler's book, A Weaver's Book of 8 Shaft Patterns, but she has huge numbers of treadles that most of us do not have. I use a skeleton tie-up and just use 10 treadles on an 8-shaft loom. Piqué and Matelasse are similar, but Piqué has long floats since it does not have the second layer of cloth like double weaving. Matelasse is a double weave, and the 2 layers are stitched together, making it quite stable. It can be woven flat with no filler, but I feel it is very cool to have the filter in between the layers to give the cloth some form. One layer is woven with half thinner yarn than the other layer. I use 2/16 and 2/8 cotton and a thick crocheting yarn for the filler. This means it needs 2 warp beans, one for the 2/16 white and one for the 2/18 green. Also, the lower green warp should have slightly more tension than the upper layer, so it gives more definition to the cloth. The stuffing yarn should be the same color as the upper 2/16 layer, otherwise a different color might be seen through the layer. Using a stuffing yarn of a different color than the lower layer 2/8 will make the pattern show up better. Here the white pattern on the lower green cloth is a stuffing yarn and not the upper 2/16 yarn. To advance the cloth, first you have your accessory beam here. Release it and relax it. Then advance your main thread. Then go back and tighten your accessory beam. Here is the structure of the weave, and the warps and wefts looks like this. The white upper cloth warps and wefts are shown in white and black. The lower cloth green warps wefts are obviously in green, and the white filler yarn is shown in red. The 2 layers are stitched together with the green lower weft coming up on top of the white upper cloth, and the middle filler yarn coming down below the green lower cloth. The set of the warp is different for the different thickness of yarn. The thinner yarn has twice the set and is threaded in the reed like this below. There are 2 thinner warps for every 1 thicker warp. Here you can see the threads spaced out. You will need to put in 2 floating selvages. I used the white 2/16 cloth yarn. Weaving the weft with 3 shuttles, the white one for the 2/16, the green for 2/8, and the filler yarn. It is white in color but is red in the diagrams so that you can tell the difference. Here's the sequence. Press 1 plus the pattern treadles and throw the white 2/16. Press 2 and pattern treadles and throw the white 216 back the other direction. Be sure to go around the floating selvages. Press 1 and 2 in pattern treadles and throw the filler. Press 1 and 2 and 3 treadles and throw the lower green weft. Press 1 plus a different pattern treadles and throw the white 216. Press 2 in the different pattern treadles and throw the white 216. Press 1 and the 2 in the pattern treadles and throw the filler weft. Press 1 and 2 and 3 treadles and throw the alternate low. Both top and lower cloth are plain weave. Here are the upper cloth plain weave treadles, the lower cloth plain weave treadles, and the pattern treadles. This sounds complicated, but after 30 plus picks, you'll get in the rhythm. The second 4 steps are identical to the first 4, except using different green lower cloth treadles and pattern treadle. In a design where there is only one pattern shaft at a time, you use the left foot for the treadles 1 or 2 or both 1 and 2. Your right foot presses pattern treadle or the lower cloth 3 or 4 treadle. This makes the weaving go very fast. So your treadling is real easy. The first is 1 and 7, whichever the pattern is, either 8, 9, or 4. Push down the 7, and then the number 1, which is the plain weave. And the next one, you just shift your left leg to number 2, which is your plain weave. The next one is both 1 and 2 with the pattern, and you throw your thicker yarn for the texture. And the next one, you keep the 1 and 2 press, and you either press 3 or 4 for the lower plain weave. The difficulty is lifting multiple pattern shafts at one time. Pressing multiple treadles in separate areas at the same time is impossible. If there are 2 or more pattern treadles at the same time, then I put a shift, a block of wood, under the shafts to hold the pattern threads up, and use the left foot for the treadles 1 and or 2, and use the right foot for the lower cloth 3 or 4. I have a notch in the shift to attach the closest pattern shaft. That way it does not get in the way of the shafts 1 through 4 rising. I have a pattern where I need to raise 5 and 9 patterns shafts, so I slide a shift inside there till the notch. Then I can raise shaft 1 for the first weave, shaft 2 for the second weave, raise shaft 1 and 2 for the filler, remove the shift, and raise 1, 2, and 4 for the green weft. Here's again the same process with shafts 7 and 10. Is 1 and 7. 2 and 7. 1, 2, and 7. 1, 2, either 3 or 4. It always goes the same direction. 4 will go this way and 3 will go that way. You can have spaces where there is no pattern. If it is the same 2 pattern shafts that are separated, you can change the tie-up so that the shafts are beside each other. If you have a hard time pushing 3 treadles with 1 foot, here's an idea I had. Get some slip-on shoes that you can slide your foot in and out easily. Screw a small piece of wood on the bottom of the shoe as shown. Then you can easily press 3 treadles. In this row of pattern, I've got 3 that I have to rise, plus the 1 and 2 shafts. So I altered the sequence so that they would be right next to each other. Then when I do this, I put a shoe and a board on it. And then I can now put all 3 of those shafts up. Matelasse gives a woven cloth that really looks and feels different. Here's some examples that I've done. I hope this has helped you understand weaving matelasse. It took me several months to figure out how this technique works, and many thanks to Margaret Arafat for her advice. Please enjoy.